Well, good morning, White County. It's a beautiful sunny Friday, and we're glad to be able to come with you and give you an update on our upcoming snow and cold weather event. I just wanted to talk to you for a moment. I'm David Murphy, your Emergency Management and Public Safety Director, and let you know that we were here monitoring conditions and making sure all of our response resources are ready in the event that this snow causes us some travel issues and such. One thing I wanted to remind everybody was, and y'all did great in the ice storm Fern that we just went through, and I know you guys are going to do great coming up in the next few days with the snowstorm. And I'll let Don get into the details about the snow because it's a little bit different than what we are used to seeing here in Georgia. So he'll talk about that a little bit and help you understand kind of the conditions we're looking at. It will be extremely cold. So I want to go over and make sure, just be sure to be prepared. And we have resources on our website, on our social media, talking about what you can do to prepare for this winter weather, this upcoming storm that we're about to go into. Same as before. Make sure you have your medications that you need, that you have food and water, that your propane tanks are uh, t- uh, full and ready. If you have wood burning, make sure you have the wood burning stoves, generators ready. I don't expect that we will have a whole lot of power outages with this, but with the winds that coming in, it could cause some of those trees that are barely hanging on from the ice storm to come down. I don't expect widespread power outages, but there could be those pockets of power outages that could occur. So just be prepared and be ready for what's coming over the next day or so. Also, the Bridge Church today is doing food distribution again. They're partnering with the First Baptist Church of Cleveland and also the Salvation Army. They will have food distribution today from 3 to 6 p.m. They have bottled water, other items that you may need. So please take advantage of that. They're working really hard. They volunteered to do this, and we had a significant donor to play a role in this distribution for those that are in need that may not have all the resources available or cannot get something that they need from the store. But so 3 to 6 p.m. today at the Bridge Church here on Holsey Road. Just go see them if you have a need, and they will certainly attempt to provide that to you. Thank you, White County, for what you did, being patient with us and helping us through this last ice storm. This is going to be a snow event, no ice, which is a whole lot better, but it will cause us some significant issues with travel and then the onset of the frigid temperatures through Monday. So I'm going to turn it over to Don Strength. I'm going to go and get to work making sure everything is the final touches are ready for us to respond and assist this weekend. But just know we're here, we're monitoring things, and we appreciate all your patience and everything you did over the last storm. And now let's get through another weekend, and we will come out good on the other side. Thank you, White County. Don Strength, can you tell them what the weather is going to do?
Absolutely. I'm in the other office across the hall from you, wishing for 72 and beautiful sunshine outside. And but unfortunately, we're dead in the middle of winter. So this is what we do in North Georgia. It's been a minute since we've had a number of winter storm threats. I mean, I've been in the county now for 16 years, and yeah, it's just that we don't normally get this many opportunities in the same season, but here we are, and we will be just fine. We'll make it through this with no problems whatsoever. And I concur with everything Director Murphy just said. I think the overall headline by the time we get to Sunday night and Monday is going to be the cold temperatures. I know everybody loves snow, or most everybody loves snow. So the snow lovers are happy this morning with the possibility that we will have some meaningful snow across White County. And so much so, I'm afraid that some folks are losing sight of the fact that this is going to be a dangerously cold period that we're going to be going through. We may be below freezing for 60 plus hours across White County. So, again, and I concur with Director Murphy, I do not anticipate widespread power outages like we had during last weekend's ice storm. But there could be some scattered power outages across the county, especially as the winds kick in on Saturday and into Saturday night. So you've got to make sure you have adequate heat. You have to make sure that you check on your neighbor. And though you got plenty of time to do that, there are no issues today. And we don't expect any issues until maybe after midnight tonight. And we'll look at the timing in just a few moments. But I want to hit this hard about the cold temperatures that we are about to endure across White County. And it's been cold now for over a week, but it's going to get a whole lot colder as we go into this event. So here's the low temperature expected for tonight. And you can see there across White County, Helen's going to make it down to 20. Cleveland will be right there around 20 degrees as well. And as the snow kicks in after midnight, we're not going to warm up very much tomorrow at all. As a matter of fact, our high temperatures for Saturday, not recovering very much at all from our overnight lows this evening. We can go to the next graphic. I'll show you that the high temperatures for tomorrow. Actually, this is the low temperature for tomorrow night. I think we skipped one. We'll get back to that. For tomorrow night, we're talking single digits. Now, this is not wind chill factor here. This is actual air temperature. Maybe we have 2 to 4 inches of snow on the ground, and our temperatures are going to bottom out in the upper single digits on Saturday night. So this is very cold temperature on the way for White County. And we're not going to warm up very much even as we get into the daylight hours on Sunday or Monday. And here's the low temperature for Monday. And you can see there Sunday night into Monday, I think this is 13 degrees at Helen and 13 degrees at Cleveland as well. So the point I'm trying to make here is we have an extended period of very cold temperatures starting at sunset tonight and extending all the way into Monday and even into Tuesday next week. Now, Monday, we may hit 32 in the afternoon for an hour or so, but that's not going to give us any meaningful thaw. Tuesday afternoon, we may get up into the upper 30s, low 40s for a couple of 2 or 3 hours. But again, it's not going to do a whole lot as far as melting the precipitation. So there is at least an opportunity here that we could have some travel issues. I don't expect it to be county-wide by Monday or Tuesday, but we could still have some travel issues on the secondary roads as we get into the first or middle part of next week. So let's back up and let's talk about the snow, and let's talk about the timing. Well, let's do the percentages first. All right, so this is the percentage chance of seeing 4 inches of snow or more. And you'll see right there that Helen is sitting at 57% chance, and Cleveland has a 53% chance of seeing at least 4 inches of snow or more. Now, in meteorological terms, those two percentages are very high. You're looking at it and you're saying, well, that's about even odds. But when we're talking about precipitation and precipitation typing, those numbers are very high. So I think that there is a very good chance, and confidence is certainly there, that we could see somewhere around 4 to 6 inches of snow across White County. Now, notice when you look at that, the darker blues are at the top of the county. And then you have a medium shade of blue from about Cleveland east. And then over there on the westernmost edge of White County down into the southwestern county, you have a lighter blue. So the odds of seeing 4 or more inches, obviously, is going to be higher the further east and north you go in the county. That's where the better snows are going to be. I'll note that if you look on over there in eastern Georgia, Clarksville is sitting at a 64% chance. Lake Burton's up there to 68% chance. So everything's lining up to look like we're going to see potentially 4 inches or more of snow across White County. Now, there are always surprises with winter storms. Some people don't get what they thought they were going to get. Some folks end up with more than they thought they were going to get. And I say this every time I talk to you guys, predicting exact placement and amounts when it comes to winter weather in the southeastern United States is very, very hard to do. And I'm just going to be straight with you. We're not supposed to do this in the South, so forecasting it is really difficult. So the message here is dangerously cold. We will have snow. We believe we're going to see around 4+ inches in the White County area, but there will be surprises. Some locations may get more, some may get less. And we are going to fine tune this as we go through this process. Now, let's look at the timing on all of this. No problems today across White County. We are going to be, partly sunny. It's actually going to be, relatively speaking, warm this afternoon. But then as the sun goes down, we could begin to see some light snow across the northern half of Georgia. Is a flurry possible anytime after 7 p.m. across White County? It could happen, but I would anticipate any meaningful snow to stay well to our north through most of the remainder of Friday night. And then we get into the peak snow potential after midnight, probably toward 2 or 3 a.m., and that will continue most likely through noon or shortly after noon tomorrow. So we're looking at about a 12-hour window here where we could potentially see the height of the storm. And I would expect the heaviest of it to occur right around sunrise on Saturday morning. We're talking between 5 and maybe 8 a.m. tomorrow morning is when the heaviest opportunity will present itself for snowfall across White County. Now, this is going to be a different type of snow. This is unlike anything that we see very often here in North Georgia. This is going to be a northern snow. This is going to be the type of snow you see out in Colorado, maybe up in Wisconsin, around the Great Lakes in Michigan. This is going to be a dry powder snow, and that the snow ratio here is going to be approaching 20-1. Typically, we see 10-1, meaning that 1 inch of liquid equals 10 inches of snow. In this case, because the cold pool is so cold, there's going to be very little moisture involved with the snow. So it's going to be a 20-1 ratio, meaning that 1 inch of liquid would equal 20 inches of frozen precipitation. And in this case, it would be snow. So it's going to be a dry powder. We're going to have some wind throughout the day on Saturday. And we believe, even though the latest model runs are pushing the winds a little bit further to our west, we'll still have wind conditions. Maybe we don't hit that 40-mile-per-hour mark, and that's good. But there's a good chance we may see blowing snow here, which would keep it from loading up on the trees. And it may help us in keeping it from accumulating so much on the roadways. But we may have some drifting that takes place as well. So, beside your home, you may have 10 inches of snow that piles up where it drifts and then it's blocked by a fence or a structure of some sort. So it's going to look a little different. This is certainly not the blizzard of 93, okay? I've already had folks ask me to compare it to 93. And no, this will not be the blizzard of 93, but there are some characteristics of what we saw in 93 that we will see in this event, I think. And that would be the drifting, the blowing snow, the powder snow, and the absolute bone-chilling frigid temperatures for that duration of time from late tonight all the way through perhaps Monday morning or maybe even Tuesday morning. So you have to be prepared. And you see the timing on the coldest wind chills from about 1 a.m. tomorrow morning all the way through 7 p.m. on Sunday. It is still going to be cold into Monday and Tuesday, but I think the danger part of the cold wind chill really will be around 7 p.m. Saturday through about 8 or 9 a.m. on Sunday morning. Please refrain from getting outdoors during those times. You guys did a phenomenal job last weekend during the ice storm in staying off the roadways. And we're asking you to do it again, especially tomorrow morning during the height of this storm. This allows our road crews to get out there and work the roads. It allows our emergency response teams to be able to respond to emergency calls. So please do not travel across White County once this starts, at least through about noon on Saturday or maybe a little after that, unless you have an absolute emergency. Travel will most likely become very hazardous across the area. And then once the snow stops, maybe we get some wind in here, and with the hard work from GDOT and our own local road department, maybe we can at least get the major thoroughfares in pretty good driving condition for you. That is our hope, and that's what we're going to work toward as we go through this event. Remember to keep our emergency 911 lines open for true emergencies. Be very careful and think about, is this really an emergency before I call? If you need some information and it's not an emergency, then call our non-emergency number. You see it scrolling there at the bottom of the screen. It is 706-865-0911. And again, I want to reiterate that the Bridge Church will be handing out food this afternoon. They have those food kits, and we invite you to take advantage of that. No travel problems whatsoever this afternoon. So be there between 3 and 6 p.m. at 607 Halsey Road in Cleveland to pick up those food packs. Go home, enjoy the snow, and we will recover from this, and everything will be just fine across White County. We will be back at 4 o'clock this afternoon with our regular 4 p.m. afternoon briefing. We have a briefing with the National Weather Service at 2 o'clock this afternoon, so we'll have the absolute latest information for you today at 4 p.m. Thank you, White County, and we'll see you later on this afternoon.